So welcome to yoga this evening, and as ever you do yoga at your own risk. So if you don't feel right in any posture, please adapt, omit anything that you don't want to do. Just listen to your body, know that it's not the same every week. We're going to start lying down on the floor on your back, finding a comfy position. So once you've found that comfy position, just notice what position you chose. Obviously I asked you to lie on your back, but just notice where your arms are, where your legs are, how it feels to lie in that position. If your left and your right side feel symmetrical. And then take your attention to your breath. So directing the expansion of your in-breath to your abdomen. Should feel a little bit different the first few times you do it. And if your attention moves away from that, you'll probably go back to chest breathing. Most of us don't abdominally breathe. Takes a little bit of concentration. But that concentration takes your mind away from other things, away from things in the past, things in the future. Allowing you to settle in the present moment. Stay with that slow breath. So just check how slow it feels, so that when on your next in-breath you move your arms, you don't change your breath, you just let your arms go with the breath. So with the breath in, your arms go over beyond your head, and with your exhale your arms come back down by your sides. And when your arms next land by your sides, let them stay there. Still awareness of your breath, attention on your breath. And if your legs are straight, bend your knees, take your feet onto the mat, comfortable distance apart with your feet, maybe slightly wider than hip distance, and then arms comfortably wide out to the side. So you leave your knees there with your next breath in. And as you breathe out, knees drop over to the right side. Gently, slowly drop over with your breath. As you breathe in, knees back to the centre. And as you breathe out, knees over to the other side. So alternating sides. And in breath to lift your knees to the centre. And out breath to lower them to the other side. And to make it equal, you come up, next time you come up from the left side, That's where you stop when your knees get back to the centre. Don't rush to get there though. Stretch out your legs. Push your heels away, pull your toes up towards you, and then reach your arms beyond your head. Stretch your fingers wide. Make like star shapes with your hands, and then spread your toes wide as well. And relax that stretch. Bend your knees. Bring both knees onto your chest, hands around your knees, and rock side to side. Settle at the centre, and then feet on the floor. And roll over to one side to come up to standing for our salute to the sun. So short end of the mat is the way that you're facing, so that you can take a long step back. A moment first to stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. So toes are pointing forwards, feet together or just a little bit apart, whichever way that makes it comfy for your feet, your legs, your hips. And then pressing down into the floor as if you could then lengthen your whole body. Like there's a thin thread of line, vertical from your ankles upwards, right through the centre of your body. Move your body so that that line goes right through your centre. So maybe there's a little sway forwards or back to get that complete vertical line. Then as you breathe in, you grow tall up through that thin centre line. And as you breathe out, you keep the high beat. Relax your arms and your shoulders. Keep letting that thin centre line lift you, and then raise your arms, reach up to the ceiling, and then look up between your hands, reach back and wide. Now the centre of your chest domes up towards the ceiling. Your fingers reach out for the back corners of the ceiling. Look forwards, reach up, and then forward fold. Bend of your knees, fingers on the floor. Upper body just hangs. Right leg back to a lunge. And then lift your chest. Left foot back to down face dog. Find your upside down V shape. Hands and feet grounded. Keep them firm. Tummy button to spine as well. And then slide forwards to plank. Hold that plank steady. Knees onto the floor. And then a smooth lower down of your front body. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Look back down at the floor, push up to hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. And then find your down face dog again. Any adjustments you want to make with your hands and feet are fine. Nice strong V shape, and then take a walk through your legs. So a bit of an initial stretch on the backs of your legs. And not just the calves, can you get a stretch on the back of the thigh as well? And then stretch both legs. Weight on the left foot, look between your hands. Step your right foot forwards to a lunge. So we're now going to drop the back knee on the floor, a little bit different to normal. So your left knee drops down on the floor, top of your left foot on the floor as well. Maybe take the right foot a little wider out on the mat so that you've got good balance. And then press really firmly through the front foot. You're going to lift yourself up. You can take your hands on your knees, but keep pressing into that front foot. So back knee on the floor, Rosemary. And then we're going to lift the arms up. So if it's too much, take your hands back down on the floor, that's fine. But if you want to stretch, you're pushing both sides of your hips forward. So left hip and right hip pushing forwards. And how far away from your left knee on the floor can you reach the tips of your little fingers? So get that full length and then press down into the front foot on the floor to make that distance even further. Look forwards and then look down. One hand either side of your right foot. Pick up the back knee, tuck the toes under, pick up the back knee. We're back where we normally are. You're going to step the left foot in line with the right foot and take your forward fold. Then bend both knees, hips down low, shoulders lift. You look forwards with a bit of an arch of your back and then straighten your legs to come up. Palms together. Find that vertical line through your body and keep it there, lifting as you lower your hands. Breath in, lifting up through the centre line. And a breath out, softening the shoulders, softening the elbows. I'm going to lift the arms again. Look up and then reach back and wide with your arms. A long front body, a lift of the chest. Then look forward to reach up. Forward fold. As much knee bend as you want. Let your upper body relax. Left leg back to a lunge. Looking forwards. Right foot back to down face dog. Nice strong down face dog. What does your upside down V feel like it would look like? Slide forwards to plank. Knees stay lifted if you're feeling strong, otherwise knees on the floor. Smooth lower down with your front body. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. And then look down, push up to hands and knees. Tuck your toes under, back into down face dog. So use tummy button to spine to get that really strong upside down V shape. And then use your hands on the mat to push forwards and down to send your hips a little bit towards the back of the room. A slow, steady breath, that's looking lovely. And then weight on your right foot, look between your hands. Step your left foot through to a lunge. And then place the right knee, the back knee back down on the floor. Top of the back foot on the floor as well if that's comfy. If you want to be more stable, then you can take your left foot more out to the left. So push down into your front foot. That allows you a bit of lift in your chest. Keep pushing down in that front foot, hands onto your knee. And then slide your hips, try and push your hips forwards. The left hip would quite like to go forwards, but the right hip we want the right hip to go forwards. So the front of the right hip is where you're getting a big stretch. You can stay with your hands there if you want, or you can lift your arms. And then lift your chest. So push, feel as if you're lifting your little fingertips away from your back knee. And then push even harder down through the front foot to get a bit more stretch. Lovely. And then look forwards. Then look down at your foot. One hand either side of your left foot. Have a moment there. Then tuck your toes under. Lift your right knee. Step the right foot forwards in line with the left foot forward fold. Hang. Deep bend of your knees. Lift your shoulders. Straighten your legs all the way up. Find your centre line and then bring your palms down. I'm going to go with the breath. We're not going to add that extra little bit in. It's going to be the same as usual. Breath in to lift up. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, down face dog. Inhale, plank. Option to drop your knees. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, down face dog. Take your time. Get your right foot and hand position. Tummy button to spine. Nice sharp point at your hips to the corner of the V. Slow, steady breath. What would take your hips an inch closer to the wall behind? Some action in the floor. Use the floor to push away. The hips and the backs of the thighs towards the wall behind as well. And then weight on your left foot. Look between your hands. Breath in, right foot forwards. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up. Palms together. Exhale, palms slide down. Breath in and a breath out. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, down face dog. Inhale, plank. Option to drop your knees. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, a lift of your chest. Exhale, back to down face dog. Stay with that slow, steady breath. Can you keep the same rate of breathing? In your mind's eye, see your own V shape. Perfect your V shape. And then use the floor to push the hips and the backs of the thighs closer to the wall behind. Beautiful. A beautiful set of down face dogs. And then weight on your right foot. Look between your hands. Step the left foot through to a lunge. Breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up. Palms together at the top. Find your centre line. Exhale, slide your palms down. Breath in to grow up through that centre line. A breath out to soften the shoulders and the elbows. And then rest your arms, maybe feet a little bit apart. We're going to stay here to take a side stretch, so have your feet a comfortable distance apart. And then feel your imaginary wall behind you, everything touching that wall. And staying with everything touching the wall, lean over to the right, slide yourself down, don't come away in any place, even the back of your head stays against the wall. And your right arm completely loose. Right arm loose, right shoulder loose, right side of your waist loose. The looser that is, the more it will bend. And then left hand onto the back of your head. Feel your wall again. Strong down through the left foot, strong up through the left elbow. Breath in, biggest stretch you can manage. And then exhale, everything soft on the right side again. Breath in to stretch the left side. breath out to soften the right. One more breath in. And a breath out. And then a breath in to bring yourself back upright. And then rest your arm. Still feel that wall behind you. Keep that contact. Slide down your wall to the left. So let go with the left side, the left arm, shoulder, side of the waist. Completely soft. Both feet firm on the floor. And then right hand onto the back of your head. Feel your wall again. Maybe the right arm or the back of the head's come away. Shoulder blades. And then a breath in. Push down with the right foot. Lift away from that foot with your elbow. And then as you exhale, soften your left side. Breath in, stretch the right. Exhale, soften the left. One more time, breath in. Breath out, relaxed left side. And then a breath in to come all the way back up. Rest your arm by your side. And then a gentle roll backwards of your shoulders. So the same feeling that you're lifting tall through a very thin centre line, and your shoulders, the outside points of your shoulders pointing to the side walls rather than rolling forwards. And shoulders heavy, elbows heavy, even your hands are feeling heavy. So no movement in your shoulders or anywhere below. Smooth turn of your head to the right. Imagine that your chin is on sort of a parallel plane and it stays on that horizontal plane, and then back to the centre. Slide your chin on that plane. Turn around to the left. See how far it's comfortable to go. Slide back to the centre. And over to the right again. Stop at the right. Just see how far it wants to go. See if it's okay to squeeze a bit further. Left shoulder stays where it is, doesn't need to roll forwards. And then on the squeeze, come back to the centre. Continue one last time through the centre over to the left. If it feels okay to squeeze, then have a little squeeze. Release back to the centre. So we're going to step, maybe take a little shake of your legs. We've been stood for quite a while. And then we're going to do a balance. So if you want to be off your mat for the balance, then that's all good. We're going to do just a knee out to the side balance. So if you want to have something, it's probably best to have it on either side. So picking up your left knee, hold either in front or underneath. And then right arm out to the side. So if you want to use a support, that's where your support's going to be, on your right fingers. Otherwise, stretching the arm out. Standing tall. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, take the left knee out to the left. Stay tall. It's still like you've got that vertical line. And you can stay there, but if you want a little more challenge, slowly move your gaze to look over your right fingers. If you turned your gaze, slowly bring it back, don't rush. And then bring the knee back to the centre. Foot to the floor, rest your arms. If you need to shake, it's fine to shake if you do. It's fine not to shake if you don't. So if you need to move to the other side to have a support on your left arm, then make your move. And then you're going to pick up your right knee. So hold it wherever it's comfy, in front or underneath. Left arm out to the side. Find your full height again. Breath in. And then exhale, right knee out to the right. Hips and chest stay to the front. So remain growing tall, and if you want to take that extra challenge, you slowly move your gaze to look over your left fingers. And a smooth turn back to the front if you turned your gaze. Knee to the centre. Foot to the floor, rest your arms. Feet hip distance apart. You can come back on your mat if you want to. We're going to have a forward fold, Uttanasana. Hands to hips. So breath in to lift your chest. And then as you exhale, hinge from your hips. So see how far you can hinge over with a flat back, a straight spine. And when you can't go any further, a bit of bend in your knees, then relax your whole upper body. Let your shoulders drop to the floor. Take hold of the opposite elbow with each hand. And then just make sure your head and neck are completely hanging as well. Press your feet firmly down in the floor. And with complete attention to your lower back, if you want to, maybe stretch the legs a little bit straighter, as much as you want to, as long as your lower back feels okay. Lower back takes a lot more strain when the legs are straight, so be aware and stretch consciously and slowly, bending back again if you feel you should do. Bend your knees again. Bend them nice and deeply this time. Release your elbows. Tuck your tailbone under, tuck your chin in. Roll yourself gently back up. And then we're going to have a lie down on our backs. So as you lie down, make yourself comfortable and bring your attention to your breath. Have a, as you go down, have a block somewhere near your head, just in case you might want it in a little bit. Did you go back to breathing in your abdomen, or did you stay in your chest? For the next few breaths, direct the inhale down to your abdomen. Bend your knees, bring your feet onto the mat. Setu Bandha. So I know I invited you to have a block, but if you've got one underneath the back of your head, just slide it out the way for this exercise. Heels close in towards your hips, feet hip distance apart, with toes slightly turned in. Knees in line with your hips and your heels, so a little bit apart, and arms by your sides, palm face down. Elbows in nice and close. So firm down through your feet, feel your feet on the floor, feel your arms on the floor, forearms, upper arms, tuck your tailbone under and allow your hips just to lift up away from the floor. So move slowly, see what lifts your hips. Once they come to a stop, can you do something that will make them lift a little bit more, like pressing down into your feet, pressing down into your arms. And when you think you've kind of come to that comfortable maximum place, bend your elbows so your fingers point up towards the ceiling. At this point you might want to shuffle your elbows a little closer in towards each other, but feel how good solid strength you've got to push down through your upper arms now. As you push down through your upper arms, it's like your back ribs lift away from the floor, your chest domes towards the ceiling. And you can maybe even press into your feet again and get a bit more lift in your hips. So there's those 4 places pushing down, the 2 upper arms, the 2 feet. Trying to get length and width in your front body, doming it up towards the ceiling, billowing it up. One more slow breath here. And then relax your arms back down to the floor, take them a little bit wider. And then send your hips slowly but firmly towards your heels, so your back can roll down. Take your time. Feel it rolling down. See if the back of the waist will land before the hips. Bring your knees onto your chest. Hands around your knees. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, bring your forehead up towards your knees. Relaxing your shoulders away from your ears, squeezing into a nice tight ball. Keep hold of your knees. Lower the back of your head gently back down onto the floor. And when it lands, have a rock side to side. Feet back down on the floor, hip distance apart, rest your arms. And then needle pose to stretch the hips, right outside ankle onto your left knee. That's it, right outside ankle on left knee. This is where you might want the block behind your head, so have it somewhere near, have it behind your head already if you know you need it. You're going to look towards your legs and you're going to pick up your left foot off the floor. Your hands go around your left thigh and interlock behind the left thigh. And then tuck in your chin, roll your upper back and the back of your head back down onto the floor. So that's where you might need your block. If your chin juts up towards the ceiling, then get something underneath the back of your head. And have a moment just to let your head relax, let your shoulders relax. And then pull your right toes up towards your right knee. Ease your knee away from your face. And then we come to the real stretch. You're guiding your left thigh towards your left shoulder. Just kind of in towards you, but a little bit to the left. But play around with where it feels good to draw it in. And the stretch should be in your right hip somewhere. Shoulders are relaxed. It's that feeling that if you could really relax your right hip, you could pull the leg in closer. It's finding that action to relax it, to let that happen. Gently release your hands from the back of your thigh and let your left foot come down onto the floor. And then right foot down onto the floor. Left outside ankle onto your right knee, so the other side. Look up, pick up your head, look towards your right thigh, and then pick the right foot up off the floor. Thread your hands around the back of the right thigh, interlock, tuck in your chin, roll your upper back and the back of your head back down onto the floor. So even if you didn't have the block the other time, you might want it this time. Be aware what feels comfortable for your shoulders. So make them relaxed. Left toes pull up towards your left knee, and where your left knee would like to pull closer to your face, push it away instead. And then if you want the extra bit, the extra stretch on the left hip, you squeeze with your hands to pull your right thigh in towards you, in towards the centre of your chest, in towards your right shoulder. Feel what feels good. Soften. Release your hands, let your right foot land on the floor and your left foot. Take a roll to your right side, and we're going to make our way up to sitting with a block or a cushion if you've got one, and legs stretched out in front. So bend your right knee, foot on the floor, foot in nice and close, hands around that knee, bring yourself as tall as you can. It's like you're feeling like you're trying to balance your rib cage on top of your hips. And that might mean pushing your ribs a little closer in towards your knee. Find where that is. Left hand stays on your left knee, left hand stays on your right knee, and right hand on the floor behind. Left toes pointing up towards the ceiling. So take a breath in, find that balance of your rib cage up above your hips, and then as you exhale, you turn your torso around to the right. So just let your head go with your torso. You don't need to look over your shoulder yet. So breath in every time to lengthen tall. Breath out to turn your whole rib cage. So use your own pace of breath. Make it as slow as you like though. With that twist, it's like your right side ribs are moving back, your left side ribs are moving forwards towards your thigh. Two more breaths here. Breath in to lift up tall. And this time as you exhale, turn and look over your right shoulder. One more breath in. Final breath out to turn. And then relax your shoulders. Let yourself turn back to the front. Stretch that leg out. Shake if it needs a shake. And then bend the left knee. Foot to the floor. Both hands around your knee to start with, to sit as tall as you can. As soon as you pull that foot in, it's harder to sit up tall. So a bit of leverage helps you get the lift. And then keeping that lift, right hand on the left knee, left hand on the floor behind. So breath in, balance your rib cage up above like it's floating above your hips. And as you exhale, turn your torso. Every breath in, you lift up. Every breath out, your rib cage turns. Breath in again, lifting up. As you exhale, turn and look over your left shoulder. Breath in. Final breath out. And relax of your shoulders. Come back around to the front. Stretch your leg out. So a little bit of a shake of the legs. And a forward fold. So Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Options for the block are to sit right on top of the block. Get yourself right on top of it. Or to get on top of it and then shimmy forwards, because that kind of pulls the skin back, gives you that sort of sticking out tailboney feeling. all the way forwards till it, can you see it lifting up at the back? It's really pulling the skin on the backs of my legs. That's quite a nice place to start from, because it reminds you that you're pushing out at the back even when you're coming forwards. But your choice, or no block at all is fine as well if you want to be on the floor. A little bend of your knees, and then hands either side of your hips. You're just going to ease your ribs forwards. So you might need your hands pushing sort of back to push your ribs forwards, or your ribs might naturally come forwards and you can walk your hands forwards and take a bit of a relax. So if you're forwards, you can maybe stretch your legs or keep them bent, whatever you want to do. But every time you breathe in, it's like you're trying to pull your rib cage towards your feet, but without taking your tailbone forwards with it. So you're still pushing your tailbone back. It's like you're lengthening your lower back. And then as you breathe out, just let yourself soften a little bit, ease off a bit. Breath in to elongate, and a breath out to soften. Stay with that breath. If you haven't got anywhere with your hinge, keep your hands behind your hips, and every time you breathe in, that's when you push into your hands and you send your ribs forwards. And as you exhale, then you can ease off again around your back, have a break. But slow breaths, you really stretch on the breath in. Wherever you are, it's a big stretch. And every time you breathe out, that's when you can ease off a bit. So we're going to take about 4 more really slow breaths. And then tuck your chin in towards your chest. If your hands are forwards of your hips, walk them in. Build your spine back up. Lovely. Bring yourself to cross legs. So you can stay on your block, you can come off your block. Again, you can sit on the edge of the block if you want to, because we're going to do a forward fold with cross-legged as well. So cross-legged not for you, then I would suggest you take your legs wide apart, and if that's a struggle to hinge forwards, then a bend of your knees is all good as well. If you can do cross-leg, then have your, well, you can have whatever kind of cross-leg you like. Kind of traditional that we all go for is tucking the feet right in and the knees are forwards. But can you take your feet as if you're taking them sort of to the outside edges of the mat, as if your shins are parallel to the edge of the mat that you're facing. So it's a more, it's like you've got a triangle in between you rather than the heels coming in. So on or off your block, I don't mind. I don't really like cross leg, although I'm not so good at it. I don't like it with a block. I find it unbalances me a bit. So make your own choice. But the same thing again. So you want to be keeping the tailbone pushed back. So you can maybe imagine that you've got a wall behind there, maybe even a block there. Keep pushing into that to stop it going back, but send your rib cage forwards. So again, if it's difficult to move, your hands behind you, just to push back with your hands to push your rib cage forwards. If it goes forwards, you might be able to, gravity might let you take your hands forwards and relax your shoulders. So wherever you are, can you soften your hips? Can you let go of your hips, not let them resist? Bring your breathing slow again, really slow. And as you breathe in, that's your big stretch. That's where you try and lengthen your spine rather than round your shoulders forwards. And then as you exhale, you ease off and soften a little bit. And make your breath as slow as you can. One more slow breath in, big stretch long of the spine, tailbone back, and then exhale, ease off. Bring your chin to your chest again, and if your hands are forwards, bring them either side of your hips. Let your spine rebuild itself. And once you're up, no need to rush. Once you're up, you can stretch your legs out again. Give them a shake, give them a rock, whatever they feel like they need. And then block to one side. If you wanted it, if you like the block for the needle, the ankle on knee exercise, then have it close by, even have it under the back of your head right away. But lie yourself back down on the floor with your knees bent. Block under your head or not if you don't think you don't need it. If you think you don't need it. So you can pick up your right knee, bring your knee towards your chest, and then lift up your head so your face comes closer to your knee. Your right hand reaches around the outside of your leg, down the shin. Maybe you can reach your foot, and if you can't reach your foot, wherever you can reach down the outside of the leg. So it might be the ankle, might be even the back of the thigh if you can't reach any further. See if you can get a hold of some place. And then you're going to send that foot up towards the ceiling, keeping the knee bent. Then let the back of your head rest down on the floor. So you want to have your right knee as if it's dropping down into your right armpit. Yeah, that's looking good. That's it, Anna. Yeah, bent as you can be with that knee. So it's the right hip that's getting a stretch. See how it feels if you extend the left leg out along the floor. If that's too much stretch, then of course bend it in again. Try stretching the left leg out, pushing the heel away, but still being soft through your right leg, letting the knee drop down. Right leg stays where it is. Left leg, if you've straightened it out, bend it again, place your foot on the floor. And then gently reach up with your left hand, take a hold of your right leg, let go wherever you're holding it with your other hand so that you can stretch the leg right up towards the ceiling. So hands maybe around the back of the thigh or anywhere they'll give you a bit of support. And then straighten that leg, push the heel up towards the ceiling, ease the leg in towards you. Relax your shoulders. Stretch the left leg out again. So both legs as straight as they can be. And then bend your left knee, foot on the floor. Bend your right knee, foot on the floor as well. A big stretch of the right hip there. So left knee to chest. Pick up your head as if you're going to look at your left foot. Well, to look at your left foot. Left hand goes on the outside of your left knee. Reaches as far as it can. So maybe it'll reach your shin or your ankle. Maybe you can take your fingers right around the foot by lifting your head further away from the floor. And then keeping hold around wherever you can. Take your foot to look up towards the ceiling. Sole of the foot looking towards the ceiling. Back of the head back down on the floor. With a block under it if your shoulders don't relax there. Left knee above your left armpit, so it's a little wide of the centre. What can you soften? What can let go? Stretch out the right leg. Push the heel away. So the right leg's working, the left leg is trying to soften. Bend the right knee, foot on the floor. And you're going to stretch the left leg up towards the ceiling. So be cautious, especially if you're holding it over the outside edge of the foot. And let go first. Support that left leg wherever you want to. Maybe interlock your hands behind the back of your thigh. Straighten the leg as much as you can. If you've got the flexibility, maybe angle it in towards you. And then extend the right leg again. Both legs as straight as they'll go, both heels pushing away. And then bend your right knee, foot on the floor. Bend your left knee, foot on the floor. Stretch your arms wide out to the side. And then move your hips a little over to the right. So your spine is off parallel. Both knees onto your chest. We're going to twist. So breath in here. And as you exhale, both knees go over to the left. Keep them tucked up as if you're trying to move them towards your left upper arm or your left armpit. And then let the left leg drop onto the floor. Take your left hand on your right knee. Either guide it towards the knee that's on the floor or use it as a bit of support with your left elbow on the floor so that you can just hold it wherever it wants to be, so it's supported and you can relax. Feel as much softening in all of your muscles as you can. As if on your next out breath, the whole massive muscles in your body just melt. So a twist as you lie there. A twist is the very top of the spine isn't turned. But if you think about the base of your spine, rather than pointing to the floor, it's now pointing out to the right side. And the thing that turns it is your right hip stacking on your left hip. So maybe imagine that someone has taken their hand, or a wall has been built right at the behind your right back hip, and it's just pushing it a little bit more forwards, taking your right knee more towards your your left knee. And that wall's going to stay there, but you're going to lean back into it. So it's like you're leaning back as if there is a wall there. Maybe that allows you to relax your knees, your ankles. And then stretch out the left arm. Bring your knees back to the centre. Feet on the floor, centre your hips. Hips to the left side of the mat. Knees to chest. Tuck them in. Take a breath in. As you exhale, take the knees towards your right upper arm. So go nice and slow. Once you've gone a little way, then you can let the right leg find its way down. It might not land completely on the floor, and that's okay if it doesn't. Let it be where it wants to be. Take your right hand on the left knee. Either draw that down or support it. It's fine to support it anywhere so that you can relax. And when you first move into a twist, it's never your maximum. Your body resists. It needs a few breaths just to understand that everything's okay. So don't be pushing and pulling. A couple of breaths just to soften. And on your next out breath, imagine all your muscles melting again. Extend your right arm. Bring your knees back to the centre. Feet on the floor when you get there. So if your lower back feels tight, just let your knees drop from side to side. As fast or slow as you want, as big or little movement as you want. See what feels right. Stopping when you feel you've had enough and then stretching your legs out. So if your lower back still feels tight, then it's better to have your knees bent and your feet on the floor. If your lower back's feeling fine, stretch out. Feet as wide apart as the mat. And if your arms are still wide out to the side, just take them halfway down. So they're a bit away from your body, palm face up. You can close your eyes. And bring your attention back to your breath, back to where you're breathing, where your expansion comes as you breathe in. It's your choice. Will it be comfy to allow yourself to breathe slightly slower? Taking a bit more time on every breath in and a bit more time on every breath out. Where do you feel the air as you breathe it in and out? Is it through your nostrils? Is it through the back of your throat? And feel your body lying on the mat. Awareness of the position of your legs. I'm just observing if they're symmetrical or not, no need to change. And then checking in with your arms. Observe the angle of your arms. The symmetry of your arms, maybe even the touch of your knuckles on the floor. Gently take your arms beyond your head. Take a big reach long ways, bring your legs together, push your heels away, pull your toes up towards you. And then point your toes away. Release the whole stretch. Bend your knees, feet onto the mat. Knees onto your chest, hand on each knee, and then guide your knees around in a big circle. Circle the other way. And then change to a side rock and make a moment just to check which side you think you should roll to. And then make that big roll all the way over. And then from there gently up to sitting. Namaste. Thank you for joining me.